Do you need the conscious and the unconscious mind to help a client during hypnosis? My answer is yes. As an ACH practitioner, it's our job that before we start the therapy process, we get rid of all of the logical fluff and the logical common sense things, the conscious aspect of the situation before we start going on to the next step. What do you mean, Paul? For example, let's stick with our weight loss client again. The client comes to you and goes, Paul, I've got a problem. I want to lose 20 kilos as soon as possible. And I've tried everything else and nothing's worked. I need your help. Okay, so you've tried everything else. Yeah, I've tried everything else. Have you cut down the amount of food you eat? No. Are you going to the gym? No. Are you drinking lots of sodas and energy drinks and that kind of thing? Yeah, I need them to get going through the day. Okay. Are you exercising? Are you going out for walks? No. So when you say you've done everything, what have you actually done? Now, you have to be the therapist that is prepared to ask that kind of question. A lot of people won't because they fear the client might get angry, might cancel the session, whatever. But ask yourself this question: how can you help the client if you don't ask these questions? We can't start doing the therapy until we've clarified what is actually going on with the client. It's not possible. You have to get rid of all the logical fluff. Another one for you is, say a male client comes to you with ED, erectile dysfunction issues. You have to go through the logical process first. Okay, Mr. Client, have you been to your doctor? Have you had all of your plumbing checked out to make sure that everything's working as it should? No. Okay, well, that's something you need to do before we can start this session. Do you drink a lot? What do you mean by a lot? How many pints of beer do you drink a night? Oh, I drink 3, 4, 5 pints a night after work with my mates, kind of thing. Yeah, that's why. Well, for those of you that know, alcohol is a massive, massive creator of what's called brewer's droop, meaning that that's an old British phrase, meaning that if you drink too much, you're not going to be very active in the bedroom because I don't know the science behind it, but that's it. Alcohol seems to deplete our ability to gain erections. Okay. So again, that's a question you've got to ask the client. And there are other questions you may want to ask the client as well before you actually start working, because if they answer no, how are you going to be able to help them? Because if it is a physical plumbing problem, hypnosis can't fix that. If it is the fact they're drinking too much, yes, hypnosis can help with that, but that's a separate issue. So we have to go through the logical conscious brain and figure out what the client is or isn't doing to stop this problem from happening. Once you've sorted those out, then you can get the client back in and start the work. But you need to have all the logical, all the conscious stuff dealt with first. Another reason we need the conscious mind as we start the therapy is we've got to, how can I put this? We've got to let the client vent with a small v. We've got to let them explain to us what the problem is, what the storyline is. You've got to let them get all this stuff off their chest. Because once they've got all this stuff off their chest, we can then start to work with the unconscious mind and figure out what is really going on. Because the conscious mind quite often comes up with conclusions, excuses, different beliefs, different ideas, different thoughts, different opinions, different views, all of which we need to push to one side when we actually start working with the client's unconscious mind, because that's where the work gets done. But until we've got rid of all that conscious stuff, we can't go there, which is why when you hear a lot of therapists saying, oh, I'm not getting any UMs, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that, it's because probably they haven't got rid of the conscious stuff first. You have to get rid of the conscious stuff first. You have to ask the logical questions first before you can start the therapy.